Good evening, everybody. Such an honor and a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Greetings from the government of President Nayib Bukele. Dear members of the American Member Engagement Network, for me it's very special to be here to share a little bit about our country, to taste El Salvador, and to have like a better image of what we're doing right now in our country. In 2015 was the year with the highest record homicide rate in the recent history of my country, with an average of 18 murders per day. This means over 106 deaths per 100,000 inhabitants. The world witnesses not so long ago how gangs and crime ruled our society, and how my country was the world capital of murder. However, we experienced a miracle in El Salvador. I am here to talk to you about this miracle that happened in my country. First, I want to explain to you how we got to that wonderful achievement. In the 80s, thousands of Salvadorans fled the country because of the violence and cruelty of our civil war. They came to the United States. Hundreds of families settled down in California, Virginia, Maryland, New York, and other states. It was in the streets of California where Salvadorans had to face the violence and abuse of other gangs in Los Angeles. That killed a reaction that generated the MS-13 and 18 street gangs. After that, President Reagan deported hundreds of these young Salvadorans who went back to a country in the aftermath of the Civil War with a very fragile democracy and no control from the authorities. During decades, Salvadoran governments asked for aid and applied for aid models of policies for national security. Step by step, the insecurity became a business model for all politicians. It was good for them to have an insecure country, so they could ask for billions of dollars in cooperation, and then, of course, took some of them for their pockets. Moreover, they would keep sending people out of the country to send remittances to their families. We can see right now that we almost have like 3 million of Salvadorans abroad, especially here in the United States. That 90% of the Salvadorian families are living all around the United States. Then in Canada, some of them in Europe and Australia. That way also gangs could collect extortions and assault citizens with impunity. If they got caught, they would be released by a corrupt judicial system. Most case scenario, murderers would be sent to prison where they graduated in criminal science. Often I have to go here to speak on behalf of the government of El Salvador about our security plan. And I have to tell them, especially in the Congress, that before the jails in El Salvador used to be like social clubs where they could eat pizza, prostitutes, come to have like visits, and also they used to play video games. So it was like a social club. They ruled the society from inside jails. So El Salvador had right-wing and left-wing governments, and none of them had interest in taking down gangs. None of them did what they had to do. It was until President Nayib Bukele was elected to office that he started really fighting to take back control of the state and give our people security and prosperity. Also, back then, it was so dangerous to go around different neighbors. For example, here, a team of baseball, a youth team can go to play in different cities. In El Salvador, it was really dangerous to go to the city of the opponent gang. So we couldn't have the right of living in a free country, also the right of living safely. And this is why President Nayib Bukele took control. And the plan that is right now in El Salvador that has different phases, it's called Territorial Control Plan. But it wasn't easy. These all politicians fought back to keep the status quo. I was over there in the Congress, and I saw how all the old system and the status quo started fighting back President Bukele because he wants to put rule and law. So he had to take office with no support of the Congress and the Supreme Court against him too. President Bukele would ask for more budget to properly equip security forces, and they would refuse to approve it. Then President Bukele would sign executive orders that was towards security measurements with the rejections by the Supreme Court and also, of course, of the Congress. For that reason, Salvadorians in 2021 gave President Bukele the super majority in Congress, which allowed him and the Congress and the members of the Congress to renovate the Supreme Court and also the General Attorney to fight all together against gangs. So he decided to start the war against gangs. The new judges also clean up the judicial system and remove corrupt judges, what the General Attorney did also in the public ministry. Thanks to President Bukele's administration, El Salvador is no longer the world capital of murder. On his first term, we have had 628 days with 0 murders, and the death rate decreased by 90% thanks to President Bukele's security. In 2022, due to hostile acts caused by gang members, the state of exception was implemented after a very dark weekend. Since then, over 80,000 gang members and collaborators have been put in jail. Those results boosted President Bukele's popularity and served him to also push him to the second term with 82% of the votes. It also helped him to gain a supermajority again in the Congress and local governments too, despite the criticism of think tanks, human rights groups, and international community about all the violations against the populations. Salvadoran families approved President Bukele and the security measures. 6 out of 10 Salvadorans in the U.S. asked on a research said that their intention is to go back to live in El Salvador, and 5 out of 10 have already invested in the country. This is what we call reverse migration, which is unusual in a diverse community in the United States, to see that the conditions are settled down so you can make plans to go back to your home country. As a matter of fact, less people is fleeing the country to come to the U.S., and the very few that are still doing it are so forced to leave because of violence. Encounters in the southern-western border last month decreased 11% versus the previous year and 47% compared to 2022. We are out of the top 10 countries that are coming to the U.S. Before, we used to be the top 3. So this means that families are staying in El Salvador because they feel safe And also right now, we are working very hard for the second miracle. It's the economic miracle. That's why we have companies starting business in El Salvador as Google, who recently opened a new operation in El Salvador, and also Bitcoin industry are attracting a lot of technological companies to come and do business in El Salvador. We also have the highest tourism flow, and we fully recovered to pre-pandemic levels. As a fun fact, 12,000 international visitors went to El Salvador for the President's Inauguration Day. That is a miracle that we are living in El Salvador. And now President Bukele and his cabinet are working hard on the second miracle that we want to achieve in his term, the economical reactivation of El Salvador. So families will stay because they feel safe, but also they have the opportunity to prosper. I will take advantage of this opportunity to invite you to visit El Salvador. We have direct flights from DC, like 4 flights from DC direct to El Salvador. Also, we have direct flights from New York to San Salvador and the most important cities in the United States. And I think it's, for me, a great opportunity to share some words and to explain how we became a new nation. It's like our rebirth. We are really living the safe and peaceful atmosphere that I think everybody deserves in their countries. So we have more for you, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And of course, El Salvador opened its arms to receive you, to make business with you, and of course, today you're going to taste a little bit of El Salvador. Thank you. We have prepared a video so you can see some images of what's going on in El Salvador. You can see our beautiful landscaping, volcanoes, beaches, and more about our security control plan.